is on. Are you ready, my guy?
You know, I actually wasn't too ready, but now I gotta be ready.
Well,
No regrets.
You don't have to be ready. I mean, you could lay back down if you want. It's no big deal. I can
No.
just talk.
Heck no, man. That's one person. That's not a podcast. I mean, I guess it is a podcast.
Yeah, look at. I mean, there's all kinds of people who have like one-man shows. Do it all the time.
Comedians.
Comedians mostly.
I think Chris Hardwick, he used to have that duo thing, and then
I don't know anything about Chris Hardwick.
he used to. He does a lot of random things. Talking Dead. He's a diddler, evidently. Found innocent. Went back to work. That's just how it be.
I don't know.
But it's been an interesting week.
For sure. Definitely an interesting week.
We had Valentine's Day come up, so that was pretty cool. Then we found out that Jesse Smollett from Empire. I'm sorry, Jussie.
Jussie, not Jesse.
Not to be confused with Jesse, like a regular person's name. Jussie Smollett from Empire. He was the victim of a hate crime, but it turns out he most likely set it up himself.
I think he just hates himself.
Yeah, he hired two really darker fellers,
two swole dudes
of a darker skin tone to go out and I guess get ski masks, MAGA hats, to then proceed to beat him up for being
honestly. You know what that sounds? You know what that sounds like? It sounds like a really shitty YouTube skit from like 2009, maybe 2010. Where, like, you could, like, still have edgy comedy on the internet, and no one was going to get on your case about it. They're like, oh, hate... Back then, I'm on it. I swear to God, back then, hate crimes were probably one of the funnier things. I'm not saying that I personally find hate crimes funny. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, I think, in general, like, the vibe of the internet at that time.
Like, it could have been, like, a good prank thing. Like, it was a prank. But, no, this dude straight up said, hey, police... They hit me because I'm gay, and now you got black people and gay people and every liberal and conservative to be like, you're trash.
You're trash, dog. You need to reorganize your profile. You just need to get your life back together, dog.
Nothing unifies society quicker than calling out someone for their dishonest behavior.
Yeah, I don't know. And it's like, even if you're honest, people will call you out. It's just like, there's no happy medium. You just can't please nobody.
Well, here's my whole thing. Like, I guess I don't really understand because this dude's got mad money. What does he need to be victimized for? Like, he's good, getting good money. He's on a very successful like TV show, but he's just like, it's not good enough.
Yeah,
I need to go all out. And they really beat him up. I mean, he was like, hey, beat me up. Don't make it, don't hold your punches. And they were like, okay, brother.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things. I saw a post that it said, we're now living in a society where victimization is used as currency. And I think that for the most part, that's a pretty fair point that it is. And I think that's not where this country should be going. Like, you shouldn't want to be victimized to put your name out there. I'm not gonna hire two guys to come in here at some random recording of our podcast and have them beat the shit out of us. So,
hey, you're bald.
Yeah, the people who are listening are are gonna feel bad for us. If anything, if I found out that someone I was like, a fan of. Mm-hmm. That's what they did. I'd be like, "Are you serious?" I'd be like, "Who are you?"
You're a scumbag.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of your content already. I don't need to feel bad for you on top of it.
Like, you're making more money than me. Why am I feeling bad for you?
Yeah, if anything, you should feel bad for me.
Give me some of that money.
Give
man.
me $3,500, and I'll fucking tell you that you're the coolest guy on the planet.
I'll do it for a ham sandwich.
Honestly, I'll do it if you're a genuinely good guy.
If you say hello to me, I'm like, that's a pretty nice guy. And I speak from experience. I've had people that I know walk past me at the mall, and I'm like, you know what? Forget you, dude.
That's true. I remember very distinctly a very prominent person in our friendship circle not saying hi to us at the mall. If you're listening to this, you probably don't know who it is, but we know.
Just know the truth is out there.
We know. Me and Brendan are Mulder and Scully. I'm Mulder. He's Scully.
I'm skeptical about everything, but I support my friend.
But deep down, you kind of know it's true, but you don't want to admit it. It's like you're too far into the lie, and it's too late. You can't back out.
Man, and somehow it comes to that whole X-Files, because we talked about that whole if NASA showed up at your door last week too, just to kind of segue from the Jussie thing. Like we'll get back to it, but then you showed me an article about NASA looking for two Jokers to keep morale high in outer space.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I don't want to go to them.
Like, I don't want to... Okay.
Because hear me out. Yeah, I'm there to boost morale. But what happens if I'm the one that needs the morale boost?
What happens if the two jokers need the jokers?
Yeah, because we're the most underqualified to be in space.
By far.
So we're stressing out, like, what if we blow up? And they're like, oh, don't worry. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And they're like, you're stressing me out. What? You're stressing me out, dude.
It's like... Because, like, okay, so, like, in the movie The Martian, all of those guys who went to that planet, everybody who went had some sort of degree, whether it was a doctorate or a master's or whatever the case may be, in some field of science that was obviously beneficial to their mission.
Right.
Add two fucking scumbags who don't have degrees in anything other than I'm kind of funny sometimes.
I just kind of showed up.
I accidentally walked into into NASA, and they were like, "Oh, hey, you're that guy!" Ha 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 ha.
Could you imagine, like, just like some weird random comedian, like Carrot Top, going to space?
That'd be so gross. He'd be doing space coke and just hitting people in the head with plastic hammers.
Not even he's trying to do prop comedy, like, whoa, you just attach the oxygen. Whoa.
All right, let's try to rein ourselves back in here and get back on topic a little bit.
Back on topic. So Jesse is ruining his career. He's ruining lives for the gays, the blacks, anyone who can, it's one of those things where I went into this kind of guard, like, okay, maybe he's telling the truth, but I learned my lesson after I was defending Bill Cosby. I was like, okay, he can't be doing it. So I'm thinking, okay, you know what? Can't be wrong 2 times. Now, I guess I'm wrong twice in a row now. But what gets me is, what city did this happen in? You know what city it was?
Chicago?
Chicago, that's right. Now, Chicago is the Windy City. Chicago's known for a lot of things, one of them being the Chicago Bulls, especially when Michael Jordan was there. Mm-hmm. It's also going to kind of bring us into the next thing that I wanted to talk about. R&B legend, said that with quotes, R. Kelly, who has since been, I don't know if it's evicted or just left his Chicago studio that he hasn't been making payments on because, well, 1, he's not making payments, and 2, this dude,
homeboy,
thinks it's okay
is a fucking creep
to be with them young girls. Now, here's the thing that gets me about
dude
this.
Dude is a goon.
I grew up, I was born in the 90s, all right? I'm showing my age here. You were born in the 90s, too.
I think so. I was born in the 1890s, though, so I know a lot of shit.
He been around a minute, man. So, what this comes down to is, growing up, I watched the movie. My first exposure to R. Kelly, so I may have heard his music, but the real first exposure was through Space Jam, because they had that cool music video for I Believe I Can Fly, and then they had all the jokes, I got shot by the pizza guy. So as a kid, that's what it was. Now, as a kid, I'm hearing that this R&B legend out there peeing on girls. I was like, okay.
Mind you, obviously, for the people who are not in the loop, the whole peeing on the people thing, that was years ago. That was like early 2000s.
I was a child.
I remember hearing about it for sure. I remember it was national news. Mm-hmm. And then, if I remember correctly, I can't remember if they settled out of court or if whatever he was, being charged with at the time. I can't remember if he was actually charged with that or not, if I'm being completely honest.
But you know what? We know he did it.
Yeah, everybody knows.
Everyone and their grandma knew he did it. Now, here's what gets me about it. So I grew up my whole life. I'm knowing R. Kelly is a weirdo and he likes young kids. All right, whatever. It's not a thing. Come to find out, this dude's still making music. He's still popular. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Let's fast forward. Lifetime has that whole documentary about old boy.
Yep.
And everything starts coming to light. And people are like, hey, R. Kelly is a weirdo. And I'm sitting here like, yeah, dude. Where have you been for the past, 20 years?
Yeah.
This dude's been peeing on little girls. Like, well, did you know he sex slaves? Like, yes, his house got robbed in Atlanta maybe 2 years ago. They found a sex dungeon in his house in Atlanta. And even then I was like, yeah, dude's a weirdo. No, it took a Lifetime documentary for people to be like, wait a minute, he's a weirdo. But here's where it gets weird. People are defending this guy, saying, no, It's okay. He has a good voice. Good. I don't listen.
You know who else has a good voice? Not necessarily that this is the best of comparisons, but you know who else has a good voice?
Who?
Chris Brown, and he's a fucking woman beater. And you cannot change any female's mind who think that he's attractive and that he makes some of the best music in the world. That he is there. It's like, I don't understand what it is. I'm not saying that all women are like this, and it's just women. But I don't understand this mentality of defending someone who is famous simply because they're famous. Or, oh, I like their music. Like, you have to understand that, like, as a regular person in society, that you should be able to find the faults of the people that you are a fan of and understand that, okay, not only are they human and they do have faults, whether they're, like, major faults, like peeing on people, or little faults, like, homeboy, you know, got into a car accident a couple years ago and drove off. You know, it's what you have to understand, that people aren't perfect, and that you don't have to, you know, hide behind the fame of those people and be like, oh yeah, like that's what that, like, I'm gonna defend this person through thick and thin. They don't know you. It's not like you're best friends with R. Kelly. It's not like you've been R. Kelly's homeboy for 30 fucking years.
Right.
And, you know, like, and don't get me wrong, I understand that, you know, certain celebrities, whether they're musicians or, you know, actors or actresses or whatever the case may be, I understand that certain people have huge followings and they do have loyal fans. I'm not saying that being a loyal fan is a bad thing.
Right.
But as a loyal fan, you should, like, be able to take a step back and be like, no, dude, that's it. That's where I draw the line. You can, you know, you can do whatever you want except those things.
And I guess another part of it is just, it's so crazy because you got to think this dude is just constantly on one. His music, it just has a whole new meaning to it. And it's like, this dude, like, he's giving interviews and he's talking that real creepy stuff, like, you know, my mom, one of the most important women in my life, you know, if I could marry her, I would. You know, we used to go to McDonald's, and I kid you not, he said this. They would share a cup of coffee, so his mom would drink it, give him the coffee. He would turn it to where her lipstick was, and then drink it from there, because he was like, you know, that's, you know, I love that woman. I'm like, yo, dude, Oedipus complex out the wazoo. And for those of you that don't know what Oedipus complex is, I'll be kind enough to let Brandon explain how that works.
Let me tell you, he is, as Bo Burnham so very clearly put it, the original motherfucker.
Disgusting, man. And I guess it just confuses me because you don't need to be this weird and creepy. You have so much money. And it comes back to this. You have all this money. You, Jussie, anyone else. What do you need to be doing? Lying, diddling kids, doing whatever. What do you... Look, if I had that much money, guess what I'd be doing? Chilling.
Nothing. I'd be doing absolutely nothing.
I'd probably be investing it, make a business, but that's it.
I would probably do the exact same thing that I'm doing right now, which is absolutely fucking nothing. And, like, don't get me wrong. I understand that, like, yes, I'm quite the firm believer that money changes people, because it does. Mm-hmm. Like, you can see people who, you know, grew up and then became famous, and then all of a sudden they forget where they come from, and it takes like some kind of humbling act, like them losing all of their friends or their family or what may have you, to realize that just because I have money doesn't mean that I can't be a decent person.
And the other thing that gets me is people are like, oh, these women is lying. It's like, okay, I get where you're coming from, because yeah, that can happen, but they got this dude on tape with the underage girls doing the thing. And I'm like, bro, it's a rap. I've been knowing about this since I was a kid. It should have been a rap then. Mm-hmm. Y'all waited and waited, and now you got all... Bro, it's a rap. R. Kelly, dude. He gonna... I don't know if he got to face some of that jail time, man. But I don't know if he will face jail time, because it seems like rich people get this special privilege that a lot of not-so-rich people don't get. Like another famous... I'm going to say this in quotes, pedophile, because of what we've been exposed to and what he's been charged with. That rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine just avoided all prison time for ratting on everybody.
Literally ratting on everybody.
And this dude admitted to paying someone to put a hit on somebody else. And they said, well, you're good to go now. What?
Like,
what?
I don't know. I think money is, money obviously serves a purpose in the world. Obviously, like our good friend Ryan, shout out to our dog.
Woo-hoo.
Like he said, obviously money is not a weird concept. Obviously you trade this piece of paper or these metal circles for goods and services. Obviously, you could use anything as money. You could barter with the things that you have, kind of like they used to back in the day before, currency was established, whatever.
Right.
But for some reason, people get a little bit of that bread, get a little bit of that dough in their pocket.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, it's like, oh, all of my morals and all of my convictions that I've had growing up, out the window. Don't care about it. Why? I just got 100 G's for helping some dude out, for doing something with a case or whatever. I'm not okay, and again, I'm not saying that 6ix9ine or his crew bribed anyone in that jury or the judge or anybody in there. I'm not saying that's the case. And I'm not saying that, that's the case for everyone who is rich, who has all of these things. But it wouldn't surprise me if in, 6 months, let's say, that was found out that judge is on corruption charges. It happens all the fucking time.
Well, here's what gets me. So they're going to put this guy in witness protection, and I'm just...
Oh, he's got a giant 69 on his forehead. You can't hide. You're going to wear makeup for the rest of your life?
Dude, he's got the rainbow hair, the 6ix9ine on his face, all the tattoos. He's very distinctive. It's like, bro...
It's like, dude, people know who you are. They know what you look like. Even if you covered up all of the tattoos, right? And even if you maybe cut your hair, dyed it, whatever the case may be. Bro, people, you have a fucking recognizable face. People know who you are. It's not like back in the day, like with Goodfellas, for instance, when Homeboy got sent into witness protection, where it's like, oh, he's just kind of like an average guy.
This is a celebrity superstar, millionaire.
And in today's day and age, it's so much harder to just disappear like that. Like, the only way that I can see him disappearing is them taking him to a bunker in Montana, and that's just where he lives. With everybody else who's famous and has been put into witness protection, that's where they all live. It's just this bunker. It's like an El Chapo compound out there where... No one, it's kind of like the Area 51 of witness protection. No one is allowed within like a 10-mile radius. It's constantly being guarded by, the military.
They got to eat out of a trough. And it's like, hey.
And it's just like...
Would you have rather been in prison or here? Well, in prison they got cable, is all I'm saying.
And it's like, oh, well, you want cable? Well, maybe you shouldn't have committed all those crimes, you scumbag.
Dink.
And on top of that, you're a rat. That's why you're here.
Yeah, man, you'd rather be here than in the prison getting the shank for being the rat, Hey, shink shink.
Yeah, I heard from someone one time, slash don't stab.
Hey, man.
I don't know anything about that. I've never been to prison. I'm not trying to go to prison anytime soon.
I ain't ratting on nobody.
And I'm not a rat. I think as like a... I don't know. I just don't understand how fundamentally you could just turn your back on your boys.
If I have to be completely honest, though, I think the only person I really rat on is myself.
Yeah, and honestly, it wouldn't even be on purpose.
No,
I'd get sidetracked or something and just start telling a story and be like, oh, there was that one time I killed those people.
Or no one tells you what's going on. Someone's like, hey, where are they at? Oh yeah, they're over here. Thanks. And then they're like, hey, no one told me nothing.
It happens. Like, it's one of those things. It's not like, because like for me personally, I think if you're a rat, and if you rat on anybody that you were semi-close to at all, I do not care about you anymore as a person. Whether I know you or not, if I find out that you're a rat, it's like, dude, it's game over. How could anybody trust you ever again?
And you know how you get to prison? You get arrested. And who arrests you?
The cops.
The cops. Speaking of cops.
Cops, are you talking about Bad Boys, the theme song?
Bro, that song been stuck in your head.
All week,
for
dude.
A week.
All week.
Have you even watched any episodes of Cops?
I haven't watched an episode of Cops in probably 5 or 6 years.
Bro, let me tell you something. That theme song, because we talked about it, because you asked me, like, hey, you ever just unironically listen to the Cops theme song? And I was like, yeah. I do, and I had to open up to you about that whole.
About how you montage yourself, whether you're the criminal or the cop?
Sometimes it's just both. Like, I'm chasing myself, dude. I'm like, yo, this is vivid. Bad boys, bad boys. Oh, there I go. I'm running. I'm hopping the fence. I'm tasing myself. Ooh.
That sounds like a wild-ass dream.
Dude, the thing is, I'm completely awake for all of it. I'm just envisioning. Because that song, dude, what you gonna do? And I'm like, yeah, what you gonna do?
I think, okay, so for me, growing up and knowing that Cops was a TV show, obviously you hear the theme song, Bad Boys, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anytime you hear that, you're probably in for some good TV.
That pelvic thrust.
You know, you're probably in for some good TV. Obviously, Cops is one of those shows where it's kind of like, it's that weird reality TV where, could it be real? Yeah. Could it be fake? Yeah. Who knows? I think Cops was one of the very few shows that probably, you know,
more real.
Divvied that fine line, but probably more went towards the real life aspect of it.
And the only reason that I would believe real is because, and we talked about this not too long ago, you and me, just by ourselves, is that there was a guy that got, the cameraman that
got shot at that Burger King when they were filming that episode, yeah.
So I'm like, well, they was really on scene.
Yeah, they was really chasing bad guys. And, you know, but for me, growing up and watching watching Cops and knowing that theme song and having it more or less ingrained in our heads, I think most people who are our age know what the show Cops is, and they know that theme song.
Right, and that's fair. And it's such a, like, you know, not universally known, but it's just a well-known song, and that show just really, you know, popularized it. And
it could be that, and there's that thing too where I'm not sure, like, the history of the song in general. Like, I'm not sure if it was like you know, an absolute banger when it was released.
Right.
But, you know, the show Cops definitely escalated it into being like, oh, what is that song? Because I'm trying to jam out to that, and I'm trying to drive by anybody who's pulled over, blaring the Cops theme song.
You want to know something that's really funny? I learned this in astronomy classes of all places, because we were talking about things, and our astronomy teacher, I don't know what happened to him. I don't know. So, sidetrack real quick. He got fired, I guess, for sexual assault at the high school after we had graduated.
I don't know.
And it makes sense, but because he was a weird guy, he is probably still. But here's what's funny. So he's talking to us about something in astronomy because we're talking about space. And so he tells us, he's like, hey, what were the 3 most successful shows that kind of got Fox really off the ground running? The Simpsons, Cops, and it comes all full circle, The X-Files.
Huh.
And he wanted to bring up The X-Files because we was in astronomy class. And he said, X-Files, aliens, space, full circle. I just had to get that off because I learned that in astronomy class. Hey, what were the 3 most successful shows on Fox in the 90s around this time? The Simpsons, Cops, and X-Files. Ding, ding, ding. You pass astronomy. You know all about space and the moon and stars.
Yeah,
Do I?
That's one of those weird things, too. Where it's like, there's all kinds of crap that, you know, I can't think of anything off the top of my head if I'm being completely honest about it. But, you know, just like being in class and just being like, oh yeah, this is what this is about, or like this is what that is, or and just being like, bro, this is U.S. history. Why are we talking about this? Like, there was like the world history teacher at our high school. I swear to God, she was one of the nicest ladies of all time, and she was one of my favorite teachers in high school in general. But god damn, could that woman go on a tangent? My God.
I think a lot of them really could. Like, hey, what's this poem about? Well, it says something about yellow roads, so it's about, they're going forward in life. Actually, what it's about is, this is like the way that the world works with the equator, and this is why the glass ceiling is so realistic for the men and women to get paid in dividends. I don't think so, man.
I'm
doubtful.
I think that's that weird thing that English teachers just need something to validate their major, because they majored in the language that they speak.
Could you imagine, like, Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven? It's about death, and Edgar Allan Poe writes in a little note, like, no, it's not. It's about a raven in my room. It was so weird. I had to write. Hey,
he was like,
Raven.
It was the strangest time of my life. There was a bird that wouldn't leave me alone. That's what that's about.
It's just about a bird that wouldn't leave me alone. Are you sure it's not about the looming of death? I wrote it.
He's like, I don't know, man. I'm gonna stick with that, and I'm gonna say that English teachers, the reason that they make things more difficult than they need to be, or that they they make you interpret things, which a little bit of a side note is understandable. Obviously, you can read something and you can interpret it one way while someone can interpret it another way. But obviously, there's the overbearing interpretation that the author meant when they wrote that piece.
Right. But
to go as far as to be like, no, your interpretation is wrong, is the same thing as being like, no, your opinion is wrong.
Bro, if you hit me with the interpretation is wrong, you better come with some cold hard facts.
You better tell me where I missed something, what theme I was missing, because that happens as well.
I want the theme I'm missing. I want to know the facts.
I want to know what your interpretation is before you tell me that my interpretation is wrong.
I want your bibliography. I want to see your sources cited. I want it to be an MLA format, 5-paper essay.
I want Times New Roman,
12 font,
double spaced.
Don't even think about double spacing. I want it in the margins, every page, top to bottom. Better not try to add no cover sheet for no 5th page.
Nope. Let me tell you, you add a picture, you add some clip art, your ass is getting a D, automatic.
And you know what? It's 5 pages before the bibliography. That's a 6th page. I want it on my desk in the morning. Name, date, MLA format, right there. If you can't provide that to me, guess what? I don't care what you guys say.
So high school is fun.
Wait,
not just saying that high school is weird.
Here's a fun fact. Even if someone did that, with all the reason I was wrong, I would just say you really wasted time because I don't really care.
Yeah, it's true. It's like, dude, you're like, yes, I understand. Like, as a teacher, probably one of your purposes as a teacher is not only to teach that particular subject and that particular subject matter, but it is also to probably reach out and maybe impact a few students' lives. Obviously, you're not going to impact everybody's life. That's goddamn impossible.
Right.
But how is it that you're going to impact somebody's life if you're telling them that they're wrong? Because, I interpreted this particular story this way, you can't interpret it that way.
And it's funny because I think English is probably the only class, besides like an art class, that you just interpret what they're saying. In history, it's like, this is why they did it.
This is what happened. These are the dates. This is how not to do it again.
And this is why they did it. This was their reasoning. And then you're like, okay, it makes sense. Math, this is why this equals this. Okay, science, this is this. Because if it isn't, then boom, boom happens. And you're like, okay, cool. English, hey man, what do you think he meant by this word? Well, considering it says the, that is quite the interesting word of choice. I never would have thought the word the should have been used.
And I'm getting the feeling that there's going to be people out here who their favorite subject in school was English, and they're going to be like, well, there's more to English than just interpretation. Obviously, you learn, sentence structure and blah, blah. It's like, yeah, I guess. I don't need to know what those are. For me, I guess that was my one gripe with English, was the fact that it's like, we're gonna teach you. Like, I could see it as a writing class. Like, if it was strictly like you are only writing in this class, we're gonna teach you how to write. So obviously, you're gonna need to know sentence structure, how flow works, stuff like that.
Like how to conjugate verbs and how to use the apostrophes, commas, semicolons. That'd be
That makes sense as far as a writing class goes. But just a strict basis of English, I don't give two shits what an adverb does or why it ends in ly.
Bro, you don't watch the Schoolhouse Rock?
I don't need to watch Schoolhouse Rock. There was an English teacher that I had in high school who said, he's like, technically speaking, English should be the easiest subject in this entire, realm of school that you're ever in, because you speak it every day. That makes sense. But just because I speak it doesn't mean that I understand why.
You know what's funny about that too? So, obviously, we speak English, and there's other languages that were offered at school. And sometimes, to get like the A and whatever, the Spanish-speaking kids would take a Spanish class.
Yeah, and they'd always get a B.
Really?
Dude, it was so funny. Because
Really?
So, funny enough, there was one kid in my Spanish class freshman year who didn't get an A, and he got roasted for it by some other student.
Uh-huh.
I want to say it was the girl that he was dating. She was like, "How did you not get an A in this class?"
Because in those classes, that's all it is learning the.
She was like, "You speak
words.
Spanish," and he's like, "Look, I understand that."
Uh-huh.
He's like, "Obviously, I know how to speak Spanish, but learning it is weird, and the way it's taught is weird, and it's not the way that like you're taught growing up to speak that language, which I think is why English is so stupid for us English speakers, because it's like there's so much crap that goes into our language."
Well, because I was going to say, because in high school, there was a lot more option for the languages that you could take. And this is weird, because I went to a weird elementary school that was a mix of, like, either the kids' parents were dealing dope or the kids' parents were, like, royalty. Like, that was it. Like, there was no in between. It's either they were rich or poor, And so, we had French class in our elementary school. So, I can think, because I only took 2 years of the second language in high school. So, through elementary, middle, and high school, I've taken a total of 10 years of French. I know jack all about, France and French language.
Yeah.
I can tell you, cheveux means the hair and stuff. I can give you a basic hello. But you come at me with some complex verbs, I'm going to be like, yeah, oui. It's just, I don't know what it is. I took French for 10 years, and I have nothing to show you. What do you think if you do anything for 10 years? Anything.
You're probably going to be pretty goddamn good at it.
Not
honestly.
me, man. I watched Muzzy. There was a little thing. They were like, hey, you're watching the movie, you're learning. I was like, hey, I'm learning, colors, verde, whoa. And then all of a sudden, I'm an adult. People, hey, you learn any languages? Oh, I learned some French. They start speaking to me in French. I'm like, hold up, sister.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. I think it's one of those things where it's just like, if you're not constantly speaking it or constantly using it, then obviously, it's not gonna register with you, because like, again, I've always kind of wanted to learn another language anyway, simply based off the fact that I think it'd be really cool to just like hit somebody with some straight up insult in like Spanish for instance.
Bro, let me tell you, I know an insult in 3 different languages, the exact same insult. Tu madre, ta mère, your mom.
That's fair. But it's just it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know, I think learning another language is just, it's one of those skills that I think, again, if you don't use it all the time, or if you're not like actively involved with it, it's not gonna happen.
And I think that's part of it. So I know people that speak multiple languages, and I'm like, that's crazy, But on top of it, how can I put it? The French teacher always had us speaking French in the classroom. That's it. You spoke English, man, you got roasted in French. But here's the problem. They didn't ever make things too clear. So we had a girl from France who came in the class and would, help the French teacher. She would always go to France. They were family friends. And so we're talking about how to visit places, all right? And sit back, kids. This is a roller coaster of a story for your boy. So, to visit a place, you say, je visite, meaning I'm going to visit, and then you say the place. All right, cool. Me thinking, oh, I'm going to go visit somebody. I'm like, they're all saying the place. I'm going to go visit a person. So I see Jean, she's from France. I'm like, that's perfect. I can visit her. So, my French name in French class was Raphael. Picked it because it was a Ninja Turtle. I said, yo, that's so sweet. Don't even come at me. So, they say, Raphael. I'm like, oui, je visite. And I say her name. Next thing I know, I'm smiling. Everyone's like, oh, yeah. I look at the French teacher's face. She looks disgusted with me. She looks like I have committed the crime against nature itself. The French lady is sitting in the corner. She is blushing mad, homie. So, what they don't tell you is when you visite, you have to visite a place. If you visite a person, it means you're going there for some sexual relations, as Bill Clinton would say. So, I'm in the middle of high school French class saying, yo, I'm about to go up with old girl over here, and we gonna
do the nasty.
We gonna do the horizontal polka behind the school. So me not knowing that, I'm like, how am I supposed to know that? You just say visite place. I'm like, hey, I'm a
Yeah.
visite person. Because I'm thinking nouns. Okay, visite, noun. No. Conjugation of verbs is important, and just understanding that. And so, after learning that, I'm like, because then she had to have this whole talk about how we have to be accepting of other cultures. This is why it's a roller coaster. We're talking about tank tops. The French word for tank top. I don't remember what it is, but just know we're talking about tank tops. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry if this offends anybody. This is where I was raised. This is what we called a tank top in the house.
Oh, you talking about a wife beater?
Oh, wife beater.
A wife beater, yep.
So I said, a wife beater. That's strike 2 for you, boy.
I think I remember this story.
I got her grilling me about how that's not what you call it.
I do remember this.
She's not speaking English. She's not speaking French no more. She's speaking English at me.
That's how you know That's how you know she big mad.
Hey.
That's how you know.
Hey. And then I'm like, you just told me to be accepting of other people's cultures. I grew up in a culture where that's what we called them. She gets all quiet, and I'm like, I'm not trying to be rude. I know it's probably a really bad term for it, but that's what we called it.
You're just like, I was raised in a household where we watched Cops, and, I'm not saying that the domestic violence was around, but let me tell you, I got a few spankings in my day.
I did, man. I got the belt, and I got... So, my mama got to a point where the hand didn't work no more.
The hands? So, I got upgraded from the hands to a spoon. Mm-hmm. Got so used to the spoon, broke the spoon.
She got more mad at you, didn't she?
Way more mad because that's my spoon. Why'd you break it?
I didn't mean to break it.
Went back to the hand for a little bit. Definitely got the belt, and then it was just shoves into the ground from then on out.
And I got upgraded from a mom to the dad. Because it was, mom would handle the business. Then I got a little bigger. Then it was, wait till your dad gets home. Followed by, I didn't hear that. I just heard the dial tone. Beep, boop, 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 beep, boop, boop, boop. And I was like, wait a minute. That button sequence, that's my father's. And she'd just be grilling me. And so, it's funny because a lot of kids nowadays probably don't have the same story. But a lot of the greatest stories ever told always end with how your parents beat yo booty afterwards.
Let me tell you, I cannot tell you how many times growing up I got my ass handed to me by either parent. It was one of those things that my dad, especially, he was raised like that. His dad was in the Navy, so his dad was like super strict and blah blah blah, and corporal punishment was like, that was the punishment. Like, you got a warning, and the next thing you knew is you were fucking over somebody's knee catching a belt or a stick or a spoon or a hand. One of those things.
Bro, let me tell you, that's just... Because my father's black. And so, he was born in the 60s, so my grandpa, being a black man, living through all that, with, Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King Jr., all that, that's what he had to go through. So my dad was raised in, like, that's the punishment. You had to learn how to behave. So here's a story my dad tells me, is this fool gets a bunch of bed sheets, right? Mm-hmm. He climbs up the local water tower in town because my dad think he going to parachute on off the building. My grandpa saw this. My dad got too scared to come down. My grandpa climbed up a water tower, took his belt off, and whooped my daddy on top of a water tower.
For the whole town to see, I bet.
Dude, it's just, that's how it was. So that's the man that raised me. He didn't let me get nothing. Like, bro, I love my dad. I respect him, but I always knew, man, he come home, I get scared. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't even do nothing wrong. I shut the door open. I'm like, please, I hope I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, what are you doing? I'm like,
And I know it's those things, and there's going to be people out there who hear this, and they're going to be like, oh, you were raised in an abusive household.
No.
And it's like, no, that's not what that was. I know my parents loved me, because obviously I'm still alive. I got fed. I got clothed. I had a roof over my head.
And they taught me how to be, like, responsible enough to where I have my own spot. Like, I can survive. I know how to not be a jerk to people.
And I'm not saying that, corporal punishment is the way that you need to go as a parent. Obviously, there are other ways of disciplining your child.
Oh, most everyone has their own style.
But I think our whole generation of that, of being raised up on corporal punishment and knowing that if I mess this up, or if I mess up doing something, or if I'm, caught being a piece of shit child, I'm gonna catch something that's gonna cause me physical pain. And you're just conditioned to not want to do terrible things. because I don't want to be in any physical pain at all. So why am I going to throw rocks through this window with my homeboy if I know that the moment I go inside that the adults are going to talk to each other, and once the story is all said and done, I'm going to catch a belt right to my ass.
Not only am I catching that pain, but I'm also getting grounded and having no luxuries. But it's even as so much as like, you know, my dad always told me, I'd rather it be me that punish you than someone random in the streets.
Yeah.
Like, I act the fool, I get shot. My dad's like, I'd rather hit you with the belt than you get shot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's fair. Because I see these videos of these kids acting crazy, and then they get knocked out by some random dude.
Super random. They be minding their business at a gas station talking mad shit. Next thing you know, they're on the ground.
40-year-old dude just uppercut, you go, Shoryuken, and just hit him.
They're just dunzo.
And then everyone's like, why'd you hit a kid? And they're like, because their parents didn't do it. And I'm not condoning child abuse, but I'm saying you gotta raise your kids or someone else will.
Again, it goes all back full circle, all the way back to that. There's gonna be some kind of act in your life that humbles you. So I would rather have been raised to know how to be humble and to know that I could be humbled, rather than go off into the world as some, 18-year-old who thinks that, the world can't touch me and that the world is my bitch and get knocked out at a 7-Eleven.
Yep. And
because I'm not trying to end up on World Star, ever. Even as a 23, almost 24-year-old, I'm not trying to end up on World Star. Because there is no bigger fear in my life than getting knocked out cold.
Oh my God.
I have got better things to do than to be in a coma for a couple of minutes.
Fetal position.
Because I decided to, talk shit to the local gas station attendant.
Well, and speaking of that, I saw a video where the old boy was talking to the gas station. So it's a black man. He's getting all mad at the gas station attendant. It's a Chinese guy. That's rude. I can't assume he's just Chinese. He's just Asian is all I know. I know. That was rude. I can't just be assuming things.
You can't
man.
be racist like that in today's day and age.
I
CNN
can't.
is after you, dude.
Hey,
they already know.
They're about to Liam Neeson me,
yeah,
bro.
they're at the door.
Whoops. But anyway, so the black man tells him, he starts cussing this guy out. He's like, you ain't nothing. He's like, pop behind this counter and see what happens. And so the Asian guy, he just stopped what he's doing. He walked around the counter. The black guy got all quiet. He's like, oh, this Asian guy gets in his face and he goes, what you gonna do about it, Trick? What you gonna do about it? You ain't gonna do nothing. You ain't gonna do nothing. That's what I thought. And he walks back behind the counter and says, now get out of my store. And the black guy looks so scared for his life after talking that much. And he said, I'm gonna go outside. Everyone's like, you better go outside. Don't start a fight you can't win. And so, and I remember, and that's why I'm happy my dad taught me, because one of the scariest moments of my life was when my mom and I got into an argument. I was in high school. My mom swung at me, and I have them reflexes. Now I'm like, yo, dude, I'm like Teen Gohan Super Saiyan 2. Can't touch this. I put my hand up. Bam! I blocked that karate chop.
Oh, no.
Dude.
Oh, no.
I felt like Neo in the Matrix. But then that, like, success of feeling like Neo, it turned into feeling like any camper in Friday the 13th when I realized that now she's just going to call my dad. And he's gonna come home.
And moms, I'm not saying that moms are liars, but I bet she over exaggerated. He hit me!
There you go.
he beat me up! He's abusing me!
Oh man, and that was just so scary, because at first I'm like, heck yeah, you can't hit me anymore. Then I'm like, wait a minute. Slow motion. It settles in. I turn around. All I see is this really big, buff, black man just staring into my soul like Ghost Rider. And I'm like, please, no. And then it's just, boom, there it goes, man. It's like I'm, what's his name? I'm like Rocky getting knocked out, guy. Like, here come, not even Rocky getting knocked out. Just anybody gets knocked out in boxing in general, dude. Like, I felt like he was Mike Tyson. And he was coming for me. And I was like, please don't. And I got to catch that hook, that haymaker coming my way, dude. That haymaker that sends me through the wall. Mm-hmm. And with that, I love my father. And I think we can end it on this. I think R. Kelly. I think Jussie. I think every person that's ever been on Cops needs my dad to whoop them.
I think maybe that's just what all criminals need is a good ass whooping. Mm-hmm. I understand in prison it happens more often than not, but even still,
it adds character.
It definitely is one of those things that a few good ass beatings, you're probably not gonna do whatever it was that you was doing again.
Like I said, I made some mistakes and something. Obviously, there's dumb things like arguments that I made, but I didn't really make the same major mistake twice.
Yeah,
because I learned enough the first time. I lied. I wanted to talk about this real quick. My father had come home to get me the belt, but I was prepared, man. I put on 20 layers of shorts, and I thought I'm unstoppable. My dad said, drop the shorts. I did, and he hit me, and he's like, oh, wait a minute. You got more on. Drop them. So I kept dropping them. He got so mad and frustrated. It took me so long that he just started going for the calves, and I was like, ah! And he was like, that's what you get. And it's one of those things where I would count how many lashes there were in my head, because I'd be like, 1, 2, and then there was a point where I just couldn't count anymore because I was just too busy trying to focus on like not dying,
surviving the night,
not getting obliterated, and being like, can I still sit on the toilet to use the bathroom later, or am I gone?
Am I donezo?
Is this the end of me?
Yep.
And so with that, I think it's time for our Song of the Week, B.
Song of the Week. All right, so I know I had mentioned to you that there should be a dual Song of the Week.
Given the special occasion, there needs to be.
Given the special occasion of Valentine's Day, you know, I'm into spirit of love, and I'm saying, you know, I'm going to give you guys some extra love this week.
Some of that DP music?
Not...
one for your soul and one to just kind of pleasure you a little.
Yeah, sure. I wouldn't have put it like that, but okay. All right, I get where you're coming from, but maybe next time we don't use that analogy. All right, so my personal Song of the Week, this is just for me personally. We have our Song of the Week, but then there's my personal Song of the Week. My Song of the Week goes out to, let me double check just so I don't mess the name up. It goes out to the one, the only, and I am not shitting you when I say this, the Cops theme song. The actual title of the song is Bad Boys. If you just look it up on like Spotify or YouTube, I'm sure you'll find it. It actually says Bad Boys, and in parentheses, theme from Cops. Is by Inner Circle off of the album Blazing Fire. I don't know anything else about the band Inner Circle at all, other than this one song. That's my personal Song of the Week. It can make you feel nice. It can make you feel like a criminal.
You can have a montage.
You can have a montage of you running away from the cops because nobody likes the cops.
And in the Song of the Week that we had that we've discussed between the both of us after just a real hypey week was it's a little bit of an older song, but that's okay because I mean it's not too much older. It's from JID off the DiCaprio 2. It's a song featuring the legendary J. Cole.
The one, the only Jeremiah Cole.
Oh, Cole. World, he said straight up, now tell me, do you really want to love me forever? Oh, oh, oh.
Anyways.
The song is called Off D's. That song made me feel some type of way when I was listening to it.
Let me tell you. So, little bit of a preface to this. I had actually heard this song way before you had showed it to me. Mm-hmm. And I know that you had messed up originally and sent me another song. And I remember listening to that, the first song you sent me, and I was like, bro, this ain't the Song of the Week. I'm overriding that right now. And then you're like, oh, wait. No, this is the Song of the Week.
Because I was like, I sent you the
Because let me tell you, I think the first time I heard the song, I was laying in bed, getting ready to go to sleep. And I had just some hip hop playlist on.
You just start dancing in your bed like
exactly. That's all I did. I was I'm
jam.
just jamming out, minding my own business.
Looking like you were in Fortnite, doing them little Fortnite.
Mm-hmm.
Fortnite.
It was quite the spectacle to behold. Let me tell you. But you know, it's definitely one of those things. Again, the beat, super hard.
Oh yeah, and just. Yeah, he be flipping up and flipping and swipping and he's like, and then J. Cole come in there like Stanley Kubrick.
And you know, it's definitely a song. Again, for me personally, that is a gym song all the way.
Oh,
you like running, you like working out, you like stressing your body out in a healthy manner. Mm-hmm. That's the song to go for. And you know, you're all probably thinking to yourself, wow, these guys is just building my workout playlist. Don't do that, because it's going to take you forever to build yourself a workout playlist, because we're only 2 songs deep.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Technically 3 songs if you really want to put the Cops theme song on your workout playlist.
But that'd be good for the treadmill because then you can really pretend like you're the criminal.
That's true. Or the cop, whatever you're into.
What you want? What you
Just
want? Cramp.
you know, just training yourself for whatever it is that you're doing.
Even eating some donuts.
Oh man.
Bad boys.
All right. Well, with that, that's a wrap. Again, we got the Twitter. We got a new Facebook page.
Facebook official.
We're Facebook official without the blue check mark. So technically, we're not verified. Mark Zuckerberg don't know who we are.
But he will one day.
But he probably knows who we are anyway, just because we're on Facebook as it is. But
he's like Tom from MySpace.
But Tom was nice. Tom never bothered you or took down your memes.
He just wanted to be your friend.
He just wanted to be your friend. That's all. He just made a website because he was like, I'm kind of a lonely guy. I need some friends. Here's some good music.
There you go. Perfect.
That's all they needed. So we got the Facebook page. Same thing. Bruise and Bros. Mm-hmm. That's it, right? Just Bruise and Bros. There's no Bruise and Bros. It's not the podcast after that.
It's just Bruise and Bros.
Yep, just Bruise and Bros. It's got the same picture that is on SoundCloud, Twitter, all of that. The cover photo is
King Kai from Dragon Ball Z yelling at the top of his lungs.
Yep, just doing what King Kai does best, and that's
scream.
That's just annoying everybody who is on Earth defending it when.
Oh yeah, because he's just chilling up there talking to people. That son of a gun.
But yeah, so we got the Facebook page, the Twitter page, SoundCloud, obviously. All of these links will be posted out. There is a new YouTube account as well, so be on the lookout for that. That is also just Bruise and Bros podcast, with the same picture as everything else. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how to upload them because, again, I am technologically inadvanced.
But hey, we're figuring it out for you guys, the whole 5 of you that stuck around this long. But hey, if you like this, go ahead, share it with everybody, pass the message along, and we're thinking about dropping some eventual t-shirts with some of our greatest slogans. And we're probably going to do like a Q&A kind of dealio here soon with the people who do listen. So if you want to get your input on there, Facebook page, send messages, and we'll go from there.
Or just, do whatever it is that you feel is necessary.
Hey, man, live your life. We don't know how to end this, so just
all right,
click that button, and then we'll just...
So... We're not going to just end it like last time. That was kind of janky, but I think that's the only way that you really end podcasts. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, you just got to, make it all... Just click the button. Just click the... Where's it at? There's it, right there. That's the one. You got it?